Hello there YouTube, how's it going? Today I have a match against InterruptingDonphan, which is definitely one of the best names I've come across so far. You just imagine this overly obnoxious Donphan just trying to butt in every time you try and talk. That's pretty funny. Now I got a team here which is kind of built around some old favourites, like we got Vorile, we got Vendetta, we got Fargus, got a couple of new arrivals as well, like we got the specially defensive Seeking, yeah you heard right, Pineco, which make up the defensive core, and of course Ariados. What good team doesn't have an Ariados? Now he leaves with Sandshrew here, and I kind of figure, okay, he's probably going to switch, I may as well just go for knockoff and whatever. And in comes Vespiquen, which is probably one of the better things to take the knockoff, to be fair. It doesn't necessarily need its leftovers, but Vespiquen is a pretty cool Pokemon. I love its design. The only problem is it's quite useless. I don't want to say useless because it has kind of good stats and a decent-ish move pool. Some pretty cool moves, but there's no kind of single role it fits into. Like, you could have it as a physical sweeper, but even something like Ledian probably fulfills that role better. I don't know. I feel like Vespiquen should get more move tutor moves, or I don't know, maybe an evolution or something in the next game. Something to make it cool, you know? I feel like Vespiquen deserves more love. Now he switches out here. I take the attack order reasonably well as it goes into his Kecleon. I wish I'd predicted this and gone for a Giga Drain, but it doesn't really matter too much. The great thing about Kecleon is it is a great special wall, but the only problem is people can easily abuse its ability by, you know, going for one attack one turn and then switching to a super effective move the next turn. You know what I mean. But yeah, pretty interesting Pokemon, and now I'm going to switch out to go into Loose Lips, Sink Ships, figuring, okay, probably T-Wave, maybe Stealth Rocks, and Seeking definitely does appreciate those T-Waves. Now, I know Seeking has better physical attack as opposed to special attack, but when you got a specially defensive Seeking, as common as that may be, I got Scold, I got Knockoff, Toxic, and Haze, actually. Haze was the main reason I wanted to use this as a special wall. And its only weakness is Grass, so yeah, that's pretty good. Now, speaking of Grass, get a Toxic on the Leafeon here, and now I figure, okay, I gotta switch, not gonna lose Seeking, not worth the risk. So I'm gonna switch out into Shelob here, just to take the Leaf Blade and hopefully go for a little sweep. Now Leafeon is actually a pretty good physical attacker, but most Leafeons, if they're defensive, will only carry like Leaf Blade, possibly X-Scissor. And you know, I saw the leftovers and figured, okay, he's probably defensive, right? Otherwise he'd have, I think he gets Double Edge now from the move tutors, so that's kind of nice. But he switches out, goes into Whittle Guy here, aka Shrew Manchu, and I'm just going to go for Hone Claws. Now Ariados, if it got Sword Stance, this thing would be a beast, let me tell you. It's already a bit of a beast. I mean, it gets, what, the Sniper ability, Cross Poison, Sucker Punch, X-Scissor. I think Night Slash is the only other move which kind of has a high critical hit ratio, but Cross Poison definitely. I mean, that's a pretty interesting move. I went for it there because I was like, yeah, this is going to be a crit probably. Nope. And now I'll just go for X-Scissor just to do a lot more damage to this thing. Now the cool thing is about Ariados is, a lot of people don't know this, but it does get access to Sucker Punch, and it's a reasonably good typing. I mean, Bug Poison, you're only singularly weak to Stealth Rocks, and it's pretty good for resisting, like, you know, Grass and Toxic, that kind of thing, so not too shabby. Now I go for Cross Poison here, figuring he'd probably want to switch, and I feel like it would kill Sandshrew at that range anyway. So he brings in Vespiquen, and that does a pretty good chunk. Don't know if I'm going to kill him or not from this kind of range, but I guess the knockoff from earlier did kind of save me here, as I go for Cross Poison, and it kills him off, which is great. That's a kill for Ariados. First ever kill. That is definitely going in the record books. I should probably change it out for Black Sludge or maybe Expert Belt, because the Life Orb normally ends up killing this guy off, to be honest. But he brings in Rapidash. I go for Sucker Punch, and I guess he didn't realise that Ariados does get that. That's going to do a pretty good chunk, and, you know, I guess he could have gone for Morning Sun predicting that, but then again it wouldn't have worked if he went for Morning Sun. I don't know. Either way, Ariados did pretty good work. Now I bring in Seeking here, who is not afraid of Rapidash whatsoever. I resist the Fire type move, I am immune to the Electric type move. All he can do is Mega Horn, which does have a chance to miss. and it shouldn't kill from full health-ish. I guess there was a chance it could have killed, but I was like, nah, Seeking's got this. Go for a Scold, and that does finish him off, which is great. Now, looking at the rest of his team, he still has Kecleon, which is going to be pretty hard to take down without a physical sweeper. I mean, Morwow is pretty much all I have for that guy. Leafeon is going to be a pretty big problem for my walls, especially. I mean, Pineco, yeah, it resists its attack, but it can't really do anything back. And it's pretty much only there to rapid spin and, you know, set up spikes, whatever. But he does go for a Leaf Blade here, and I take it pretty well because Pineco does not care for Leafeon's Leaf Blades. Look at it! Just a pine cone! Why did they think to make a Pokemon out of a pine cone? That is pretty cool. I remember first seeing that guy in Pokemon Gold and thinking, yeah, I gotta have one of those in my team. So he brings back in Sandshrew here, which was a good play because he can now get up rocks as much as he wants if I keep going for Rapid Spin, and that's pretty much what I'm planning to do. But I think I do decide to switch out because I don't want to get into some kind of derpy Rapid Spin war. So I go into Seeking once again, and he in fact goes for Seismic Toss, which was a good play because Seeking is now going to fall to the wrath of Shrew. That is embarrassing, Seeking. What are you doing? No, Seeking did his part. Seeking did pretty well. So I bring in Seviper here, and I'm just going to go for whatever just to kill him off. It doesn't really matter what I go for. I think I do go for Giga Drain, even though that was kind of obvious to go for on a Sandshrew. I figure, okay, if he brings in Kecleon, he'll then be Grass type, so I can then go for a Sludge Wave anyway, so that'll kind of work out. So he does take the Giga Drain pretty well, and obviously get the color change, whatever. And in the next turn he is going to make a good play and just go back to Sandshrew anyway, figuring, oh yeah, I probably don't want to take a super effective Expert Belt Sludge Wave from a Seviper, so yeah, he just sacks Sandshrew, which is pretty good for me. No more Stealth Rocks, and, you know, Seeking has finally had his revenge in the form of Seviper. That's why it's called Vendetta. Kill off Sandshrew, and it looks like the remaining members of his team are, what has he got? Kecleon, Leafeon, and something else, I believe. So I'm thinking Morwow is going to be the one to actually finish this guy off, right? Hopefully. So I'll bring in Pineco just to take the T-Wave, which I thought would be the T-Wave, but he actually has Drain Punch, which is pretty interesting. Kecleon, I think, does have... well, it's kind of similar to Ariados in a way. It's pretty slow, it has like 90 base attack, and it has some pretty good moves like Sucker Punch, Drain Punch, you know, probably all the punches to be honest, but... you know, the thing is it only really has Home Claws, it doesn't have Sword Stance, I believe, so not exactly great, but... hey, whatever, pretty cool Pokemon. Raichu comes in, I go for a layer of spikes just to get the momentum going. Now I go to Fargus, just in case he goes for, I don't know, Sub or whatever. He actually goes for Encore, which is fair enough. Now he goes for a Nasty Plot, and that did kind of scare me because a Nasty Plotting Raichu will wreck most of my team. Now I go for a Psychic just because I figure, okay, I don't have Encore or whatever. He's probably faster anyway, so just go for a Psychic, get some damage on there, and... you know, I had my fingers crossed, I was thinking, come on Fargus, you can take this. +2 T-Bolt, no worries. Nope, nope, nope. Gets a crit, which probably didn't matter to be fair, because that's a +2 Raichu using a T-Bolt and his Life Orb, so I doubt the crit mattered. So I bring in Pineco, and I think I just go for Gyro Ball. My thinking at this point was, okay, I could bring in Morwow and go for Sucker Punch, but on the off, very slim chance that he does have Sub, I want to get him down to a range where he can't possibly sub. Then I'll go to Morwow, then I'll just finish him off. And if he switches, fine, he's lost his boost, so that's cool. So bring him in here, go for a Sucker Punch, and that is going to take out the Raichu. Now all he has left is Leafeon and Kecleon. Hopefully Morwow can actually take these things down. Leafeon shouldn't be able to do too much to me, but Kecleon, not exactly sure. Drain Punch might do quite a bit. Anyways, he does bring him in here, and I am faster because I think I'm max speed. Go for an Iron Head, and just to put it in perspective, Stab, Sheer Force, Base 80 Power, Life Orb, pretty damn powerful. Morwow is definitely one of the biggest threats out there in PU, let me tell you. Now he brings in Leafeon, and Leafeon does have base 9 million defense or something, but not really too worried, and he does go for a Sword Stance, protecting my Sucker Punch, I guess, because Leafeon is bound to be faster. That kind of makes sense. But I go for an Ice Punch just to get some pretty good damage, and he still takes that because Leafeon is a bit of a boss. But next turn I figure, okay, I don't know how much damage he'll do with a Leaf Blade or whatever, so I may as well play it safe and go for a Sucker Punch, and, you know, if he keeps not attacking, at least he'll die to poison eventually, so that is going to take out the Leafeon, and that is going to be good game. So yeah, really interesting game. Really glad to see stuff like Vespiquen being used. I gotta try one of those things sometime, but yeah, Ariados, gotta keep using that a bit more, because I feel like it's got a lot more potential with the whole, you know, sniper crits, that kind of thing. Pretty powerful. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, and with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.